much as we'll go into the issue of first topic for today, we'll look at the recent Federal High Court judgment barring the Directorate of Road Traffic Service, popularly known, of course, the VIO, from confiscation of vehicles, impounding, and even imposing fine. Of course, some of us have been, we have been a victim of their practice in the past. Of course, I, for one, have recently stopped me that your plate number is not visible, and they end up imposing fine, your tire is not your, and all of that. Of course, somebody have challenged that action in court. The court had opportunity, to make pronouncements on the legality of their action. So, what do you have to say concerning this judgment? Because we argue that they also have to do their job. They are called Vehicle Inspection Office. So, of course, we argue that their job involves inspecting vehicles, and if they are found wanting, they should be impounded, or some form of fine should be imposed. So, what do you make of this judgment?
Well, the judgment is a welcome development. Although it is not the first time the court in Nigeria has given judgment on the same terms and conditions as the recent judgment by Justice Evelyn Ma of the Federal High Court, Abuja, at the instance of Marshal Abubakar, a legal practitioner and the Public Interest Litigation Counsel. Now, the issue of vehicle inspection officers being on the road, stopping vehicles, inspecting vehicles, impounding vehicles, and issuing fine tickets has received the attention of the court at least in 3 or 4 cases. The last one is the one that you just mentioned, the one from Abuja, where the lawyer went to court and challenged the validity, the legality, the constitutionality of VIO officials being on the highways, stopping vehicles, impounding and confiscating vehicles. And the court, after taking argument from both sides, the applicant said that the act violated his fundamental right to freedom of movement, fair hearing, and the right to own property, amongst others, as well as the constitutional right of presumption of innocence. After considering all the arguments, the court came up with a declaration that there is no law that empowers VIO officials to be on the road, to be impounding vehicles, confiscating vehicles, or imposing fines. That the appropriate place for them to be in their workshop or their offices, doing their jobs there, inspection of vehicles and all that, and that even if they need to, do confiscation or anything, if at all, it has to be during the renewal of the license of the vehicle in question. So they don't need to be on the road. And that is not the first time, like I said, in 2021, there was a judgment. There was a judgment on the same terms, March 2021, in Enugu State. A lawyer went to court, Wobodo rather, and challenged the confiscation of his vehicle by VIO officials in Enugu State. And the court came to almost the same conclusion and granted perpetual injunction that under the relevant laws in Enugu State, the VIO officials don't have any business being on the highways in Enugu State, stopping vehicles, impounding vehicles, confiscating vehicles, and then issuing fine tickets. And of course, there's also a decision of a Court of Appeal on the same matter, Court of Appeal Benin, which affirmed the decision of the High Court in a Delta State, where Edu went to court to challenge the same VIO officials that confiscated his vehicle, and the decision of the High Court was the fact that it was wrong for VIO officials to be on the road, performing their duties on the highway, that they should do that in their workshops or offices. the VIO officials went on appeal. And the Court of Appeal confirmed the judgment of the High Court. And if you look at these three cases, they all border on one. Is there any law that empowers VIO officials to be on the road, inspecting vehicles, stopping vehicles, impounding vehicles, and issuing flight tickets? And the answer in all the three cases is one, they don't have such power. Because for you to do anything, there must be a law that enables you to do it. There must be a law that gives you the power or the authority to do it. There are no such law. Now, the issue of issuing flight ticket presumes that a person has been found liable or guilty of something, because fine is paid as a result of sanction or punishment. And somebody is stopped on the road, then there is no court that has had him or listened to it, adjudicated. So the issue of issuing fine tickets is a denial of the right to fair hearing. And of course, there are other cases on the same point. The issue of issuance of fine tickets, even the case against the federal road safety on that point. So that judgment is a welcome judgment. It does not say they should know their job, but the issue is, where do you do your job? As a lawyer, you have a place you do your work. You do your work in your office and in the court, and such other places that may be lawful for you to carry on your job. But then, the VIO officers, the courts have said they should do their works in their offices or their workshops. And what is their job? Inspection of vehicles, to know whether the vehicles are roadworthy and other things. The question is, can such a job be properly done on the roadside? The answer, and that is why I'm completely in agreement with the judgments on that point.
All right. Mike,
yes.
Yes, of course, I will allow you to give a general overview.
Yeah.
But while giving that, I would like you to have these questions in mind so that you could also, see how you could chip it in your own general overview. So now we have met some points that this is not the first time that such judge has been issued. A few instances has been given, and this issue continues to persist. We want to know why it continues to persist. That's the first question. Then secondly, he made mention that they have to do their job, and their job is inspection of the roadworthiness of vehicles. And he made mention that they ought to get the, of course, issuing of fine ticket presumes that the person has already committed an offense. But some will argue that there are some other federal government agencies like CAC, the FRSC. Of course, when you do not file your annual return within 1 year, their mandate stipulates that they can prescribe fines or penalties for lack of adherence to what they're supposed to do. Of course, if you do not pay your annual return,
that is default payment.
Yes,
now default
payment.
Because you didn't pay it at the appropriate time. That's one is different.
So does it mean that the
even in the court,
if somebody's found once, he must always the VIO officials must get a court order? For instance, somebody doesn't have an extinguisher, his tire is faulty, there's some things in his vehicle that, of course, does it mean that you will need to get court judgment?
Very well, thank you, Kenneth. As my colleague has said, there has been cases or decided authorities already in existence concerning this. It's not only VIO, it goes across all the traffic security agencies, like LASTMA in Lagos here, like Road Safety Commission, and all others who impound vehicles and impose fines on. I can recall when one of us in Lagos here, Barrister Johnson Ezezobo, went to court against LASTMA that impounded his vehicle and refused to release, asked him to go and pay so amount of money. He took the matter to court. The court awarded damages against LASTMA. They went on appeal. The appeal was dismissed. So you can imagine that this is not the first time that this thing has happened. The principle is that nemo judex in causa sua. You cannot be a judge in your own cause, in your own case. You cannot be the one that has apprehended somebody and then you find the person guilty and you impose fine. There is another agency, there is another arm of government that is responsible for finding out whether the person is guilty and then issuing fine, and that is a court. So you cannot be the one that has arrested or impounded the vehicle and then you now tell the person that you should pay so amount of money because you have defaulted. You see, this is quite different from issue of maybe CSC. You did not find your you did not file your annual returns and then you are going to file the annual returns. You are expected to pay default fee because that is stipulated in the law that if you don't, when you are filing, you have to. You understand? Yeah. Same thing with us in the court. Yeah. If you don't file your case, your statement of defense or whatever within the stipulated time, by the time you are going, the rules have already made provision that if you are in default for so number, you calculate it and pay when you are filing. That is provided by the law. What we are saying is that what they are doing is not provided by any law at all. And so the next issue that I want to tackle now is our first question that said that why is it difficult to implement, to enforce? Because they are the ones on the road and then nobody has actually, you see, apart from taking the matter to court, you cannot physically fight them on the road there. So the only thing is to enlighten the public and make them to know that this judgment is in existence. Their being on the road is illegal, pronounced by a court of a competent jurisdiction that their being on the road is illegal. They should go to their shop, they should go to their workshop and their station and stay there to do. You see, like what was decided in Exisable against LASTMA. The judge said that LASTMA's duty is to control traffic. It's not for you to go and impound. Somebody has actually committed infraction on traffic. What we need to do is to issue him a ticket and then tell him you are going to so court so time, so that the court will go and find out. You bring your evidence, tell the court this is the way the man disobeyed the law, and the judge will look at it very well and know that this man actually committed the offense for finding him guilty or not guilty. We see that even in civilized societies. I'm not saying that Nigeria is not civilized. Civilized in terms of doing things according to law. You understand? When somebody commits an offense, they just give him a ticket. You go to social place, the court will see them in the television. They will just go there, and then the person will say, "I committed this offense. I did not commit. This was the reason I committed," and all that. The judge will look at holistically and then make a decision one way or the other to say, okay, you have to go and pay this or you shouldn't pay, based on, you understand, the understanding of the judge. And so what the court has said is not new. It's only that we need to enlighten the public. We need to make the people to know that if a VIO stops you on the road, the highest the VIO can do is to give you a ticket, appear in court on a particular. He has no power to impound a vehicle. He has no power to arrest, to give you a fine, to go and pay somewhere. The power he has is to give you a paper to appear in court, and the court will now be the one that will. They don't even have any right to be on the road. That is what he said. So when you go to their station to carry out renewal of your documents, particulars, and it is discovered that you infringe, because like in Lagos now that you have the cameras that pick offenders and all that. Once you go there, I had an occasion that my driver had to call me from where he went. These roadworthiness people went to do this, and they said that the vehicle has some penalties on it that they in front. And I asked, how did it happen? That you don't know. They should have told me. But in order not to drag the matter down, I just went there. I found out what they were talking about. In fact, even the day that they were talking about, that vehicle was not on the route. So I said, okay, no problem. I have to clear this in so that the vehicle can come out of that place. If I wanted to follow the law, I would have dragged them to court.
What did you clear?
I said I had to clear because you have to pay the fine to them before they can even give you a renewal of the document. And what the court is now saying is that you have to allow the person to come to your workshop, to come to your station when he is renewing the license or the particular, so that you can look at it and know whether the person had actually committed an offense or not. So that is the reason that we have this kind of, and until the people are ready and willing to implement, to obey what the position of the law, we'll still find ourselves going around, because any other person can still take them to court and the court will pronounce as necessary.
All right, of course, wouldn't we want to strike a balance? Because you said that they should not be on the road, be in their offices doing their job.
Yes.
But with the death of...
That's not what I said. That's what the court said, and I'm in agreement with what the court said, not just what court.
Yes, you seem to agree with that.
Yes.
Because we have a death of infrastructure to really kind of course in civilized society where you have a lot of infrastructure where you can sit at the comfort of your office and do your job. Because wouldn't we have to balance it with the security of other road users too? If you say they have to be in their office to do their job, how do they dictate a car that doesn't have the necessary infrastructure to be on the road, fire extinguisher, it doesn't have spare tire, the tires are not good, it doesn't have horn, it doesn't have, how are they going to do that in the comfort of their office?
Well, the point is this: the issue of the VIOs having to determine whether a vehicle user has necessary things in his vehicle is at the point of renewal. That's what the court said. When you go to renew your license and other papers, you go there with the vehicle. They will check everything. If the fire extinguisher is not there, they will say it is not there. If there's any roadworthiness, if no longer roadworthy, they will even subject it to test. And these things are properly done in the workshop, not on the roads. That's what the court is saying, and I agree with it.
Yes, you see, the aspect that I want to enlighten the public now is that the court is not actually saying that when these things are, I mean, the particulars have expired or this thing is bad and all that, that these people, they should not fix them and nobody should penalize them for that. What the court is saying is that there is an agency that is responsible for this, and your own duty is to inspect the vehicle. The duty of LASTMA is to control traffic. The duty of road safety is to ensure that people are not driving dangerously on the road. You understand? It's not for you to find them and tell them, go and pay so amount of money. If somebody like the traffic policeman, if somebody has committed an offense like the issue of the vehicle not being roadworthy and every other thing, that is within their realm to say, okay, this one is not roadworthy, this one is bad, this one is that, you better go and change it. If you don't, we are taking you to court and you will be found guilty, and once you are found guilty or liable, once you are found liable, you have to pay fine. No. The traffic police is different. It's different. You see, there are people that have agencies that have different roles to play.
The inspection
those people, they can do that work. VIOs, their own duty is to be in their office and do their work, not on the road.
Yes.
That is why I'm telling you that there are people who can do that on the road. And these are the police traffic men. You have them. Yes. Their duty is to inspect the vehicle. If you are liable for one thing or the other, they will refer you to the court that is supposed to take it. And in fact, their normal duty is to tell you, go and change this, go and fix this, go and do this. It's only if they give you that warning and you are not able to, that they can now take up the matter to the court. Not for them to impound your vehicle and not for them to even give you a fine to pay and all others. But the VIO, their duty is to inspect the vehicle in their offices. When you are going there to fix your particulars and all that, renew your particulars. They are the ones to say this document, this particular, the tire is bad. You don't have fire extinguisher. You should do this. These are things that ordinarily will ask you to go and put them in order. But you discover that in the Nigerian system, I know that some people like to be policed. There are some people who will never put their things in order. They want to, no matter how rickety the vehicle is, they want to cause problem for others on the road. And so they go on the road and cause all manner of things. But what the court is saying is that there is a place to do these things. It's not, and there is an agency that can handle it, not you, not LASTMA, not road safety. These people, VIO, LASTMA, road safety, you don't have the power. The only people that have the power is the police traffic men that have the power to tell you, okay, go and you are going to appear in court and all that. So these other people, apart from LASTMA, that the court actually said that your duty is to control traffic. And that is that, their duty. If somebody infringes or violates the traffic rules, there are people to handle that. But your own is to ensure that the traffic flows. The same thing with road safety. Your duty is to ensure that the road is safe. If somebody is not driving properly, you know what you are supposed to do. Not that you will arrest them. In fact, some of them, they arrest the person, impound the vehicle, and give fine. 3 things at the same time. You put the person behind bars, the vehicle is also there, and then you are asking the person to go and pay fine. These are wrong steps that are taken, which should not be.
And do you know that these agencies are not meant to be generating revenue for the government?
That is exactly what they are even doing.
They are not supposed to be revenue generating agency for governments. Like
they see themselves as
road safety, like the name implies, is to ensure safety of road users. They are not there to start making money from the public, from road users. The same thing applies to LASTMA. If there's a vehicle that gets down on the road, what does the LASTMA do? If they're able to assist the person to rescue the vehicle, not to go and do it and then start say pay. That is what I'm saying. That is not what is meant to be. That's not why the law created them.
Yeah.
The law created them to ensure that they assist road users. If there's a vehicle that gets that breaks down on the road, what they do is use their vehicle to take to a safe place. That's all. But do you know that even when people park to receive call, some of these overzealous LASTMA officials will go there and tow the vehicle, and they force the driver to pay 50,000, whatever amount they may charge. These things are infractions of the law. They are not meant to be generating money to government. They are to ensure, first of all, safety of road users. That is what they are created.
All right. Of course, these agencies are created to ensure the safety of road users. I'm sure that, of course, the VIO officials, the legal department of the VIO will have received this judgment, and we believe that they should do the needful in educating their officers on the provision of the law.
And I think, in addition to what my good friend said, why these people have persisted, notwithstanding the judgments of courts of competent jurisdiction, is because no one has taken the step to commit any of them to prison for contempt of court. Because Nigeria is a country that professes constitutionalism, rule of law, and all that. And what that means is that if there is a valid order of a court, it must be obeyed, whether you like it or not. Now, there are judgments, and yet you still see these VIO officers still on the road in clear disobedience of these orders. I believe the proper thing to do is for, the people concerned to take steps. I know the one in Lagos State, the court awarded the applicant 10 million naira.
Yes.
For the confiscation of the vehicle for, was it 2 years or something?
Yes.
So, Once they're on the road, now serve them the necessary Form 48, notice of the consequences of disobedience of order of court, and put it up with committal. And of course, the lawyers in legal departments of these agencies are also to do what they're supposed to do. And what is that? To warn them of the dangers of disobeying judgments and valid orders, of course, of competent jurisdiction. You must obey, because if you don't obey court orders, it's not acceptable anywhere, not even in Nigeria.
Yes. And the CJN mentioned that from now on, court orders must be obeyed.
Yes.
All right. Of course, the beauty of constitutional democracy is strict obedience to court orders of competent jurisdiction.